Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our session on India's journey towards fuel of the future. May I now invite on stage Mr. Anil Srivastava, Professor Energy Policy and Environment Solutions from IIT Kanpur and Director of Epsilon Advanced Materials. Mr. Nitin, Seth, Chief Executive Officer, New Mobility, Reliance Industries Limited, and Mr. Manish Raj Singhania, President, FADA. May I request you all to kindly join us on stage, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Shri Nitin Seth, who is the Chief Executive Officer of New Mobility from Reliance Industries Limited. He is responsible for leading the mobility initiatives in hydrogen and the electric domain. With these words, I'd like to request him to kindly deliver his keynote address. Shri Nitin Seth, please. I request people standing at the entry and exit way to please kindly take your respective seats and settle down, please. May I please request people standing at the entry and exit way onto my left to please join and take your respective seats. Our esteemed speaker here would like to start his keynote address. So may I request you to please settle down.
Okay, good afternoon. I know it's a tiring day, ladies and gentlemen, and my respective dealers. Maybe some of you know me. I've worked in 20 years in Tata's and 11 is in Leyland, so a lot of things which I'll speak, I have a very good understanding of what goes in a auto company's mind and dealer's mind as future is changing. So I think that today's topic of discussion which FADA has invited me is what is the fuel of the future. Now, I know many of you have understood and discussed electric vehicles during the day possibly, and some of you are thinking is LNG, CNG or anything else is the fuel of the future, and what happens to the automobile industry in this respect, what happens to a dealer from his mindset, what will happen to this whole game around. So let me just discuss the first topic, which is the topic with fuel. According to me, the fuel of the future is hydrogen, and there is a reason why I'm saying that, why hydrogen is a likely fuel of the future. What goes behind hydrogen, at least this is one thing which India can do it on its own. Hydrogen as a technology is possible to be done in India. When you do electric vehicles, you have to import, let's say, cells from some other country, or you're importing oil from Gulf or anything. So that is not in your control. Cells, yes, it will get made in India in some time to come. But still, many of the raw material of the cell will not be still available in India because mines don't exist in India. So you will have to still import raw material for the cell from somewhere else in the world. For hydrogen, you only need water and a technology, electrolysis, to make it convert into water into an hydrogen. So I know water is a short supply in India, but still you can desalinate a seawater and convert into an hydrogen. So there is a reason why I said hydrogen is the fuel of the future. I'll read out some of the points when he said, is it okay to convert a diesel engine into hydrogen? Yes, it is technically possible. Hydrogen is efficient. I think some of the data points, I think some of you know, we at Reliance have started to work with OEMs to see, can hydrogen be fueling some of the so-called diesel engine technology. Just to give you a perspective, hydrogen is 3 times more fuel efficient than a diesel vehicle. Fuel cell as a diesel, same engine running on a diesel, 3 times more fuel efficient. Some of you people have been in truck business and you see CNG is nearly the same, even though there's a cost arbitrage with CNG. The CNG is not that efficient as hydrogen. Hydrogen is 3 times more efficient than a diesel on the same vehicle. So imagine if cost of hydrogen comes down, you can see how much of an efficiency it can improve. And you don't need to import hydrogen from anywhere. It will be made in India, which many big companies will try to do. If you look at, it is carbon free. Obviously hydrogen, if you see a tailpipe, which you know emission comes, we have made trucks, you actually can drink the water from the tailpipe. You can actually, the water is so pure, you take the water in your hand, actually you can even attempt to drink it, it is safe. That tells you the emission at the tailpipe is virtually nothing. So if India is looking for pollution issues, this may be one of the fuel made in India, tailpipe emission virtually zero and pure, and is 3 times more efficient than diesel. But the question a lot of people are asking is it safe? So before I get into safety and the other issues, let me just give you a message. Our Prime Minister, I think you are aware, in August 15th speech from Red Fort 2021, he did speak about national hydrogen mission. So government is likely to announce some drafts under circulation, a policy of hydrogen very shortly. Now the question here is, how many automobile companies are prepared if this policy comes forward? Are we prepared as a country to take this policy forward? Obviously you may always say, are the hydrogen vehicles safe? Number one. Number two, where are the hydrogen pumps available to fill these vehicles? And third, what will be the cost of hydrogen? So let me just touch upon something. I can speak on behalf of Reliance. You would have seen some statement our chairman, Mr. Ambani, has made in public. He has said, okay, let me give if you go to Europe today, the hydrogen is available at 10 euros. Now your 10 euros, if you convert approximately, let's say 80 rupees or 85 rupees, you will say hydrogen is 850 rupees a kg. Now you will say diesel is, for the sake of discussion, 100 rupees a liter. If hydrogen is 8 times, why will I buy a vehicle when it is 3 times more efficient when the fuel is 8 times? But our chairman has gone and announced from Reliance to say, can I give hydrogen at $1? 1 kg of hydrogen at $1 in 1 decade by 2030. Imagine if hydrogen is 100 rupees a kg, what happens? For the sake of discussion, even if you say hydrogen is available 250 rupees a kg, then actually your diesel vehicle will tend to have a serious cost economics trouble. Because if it's 3 times more efficient, which is proven, hydrogen vehicles are 3 times more efficient. If you are able to bring the price of hydrogen in India at 250 rupees a kg, actually your diesel vehicles and petrol vehicles will have serious problem to compete with hydrogen. Now, is it doable? Cost of producing of hydrogen is virtually zero, if you ask me, is zero. Maybe 2 rupees or 3 rupees a kg. Problem is the cost of equipment which goes into making hydrogen is very costly. Cost of electrolysis, which is a technology which converts water into hydrogen, is very costly. What we are expecting, the kind of schemes you have seen from the government on PLI for batteries and other things, we are expecting a draft PLI for hydrogen will come, where government might incentivize the technology which goes into making hydrogen. If government, because government understands the cost of import of oil is very high, so government will like to reduce the cost of making hydrogen, therefore hydrogen will become popular. Second thing which is very difficult in hydrogen, how do you store hydrogen? You cannot store hydrogen in a metal tank. You need a special items called carbon fiber, because it is a very high pressure you store the hydrogen, which Reliance also has announced that we will make a component called carbon fiber, which is not made in India. So two things if you resolve, making a tank which will store hydrogen, and can you reduce the cost of making the hydrogen, then the game shifts. If government, which is very serious about hydrogen, you would have seen announcement, and I think there is a program called SITE, which is Strategic Intervention for Green Hydrogen Initiative. The SITE program is about, I have seen the draft policy which is under circulation. Lot of expectation is happening that in the month of Feb, along with the budget, there might be an announcement for incentives for hydrogen, a similar PLI schemes which you have seen for battery electric and the other auto is hydrogen. Second thing, hydrogen is very pure because it is done from water. Obviously, you cannot use groundwater. India has a problem of water shortage in many parts of the country. But if government is helping us in desalination or wherever, in which part of the country hydrogen water is available, the technology is not difficult to make an hydrogen. So, other aspects which worldwide people think is hydrogen safe. It is actually safe. Yeah, it is odorless, but it is safe. Yeah, you have to take certain safety precautions in terms of walls and everything, safety walls. Otherwise, hydrogen is safe. Europe is betting very big on hydrogen. Why? A lot of people say electric vehicles are very environmental friendly, but I think if you know the background of it, electric vehicles comes from mines, and mines are not environmental friendly because you're digging up mines to get lithium and carbon, nickel, cobalt. You're not free. Number one, you are charging, a lot of people say you are charging an electric vehicle from an electricity which is made from coal. Then how does that electric vehicle actually is clean? Because you're using coal, which is not right thing to do, to make an electricity, and then you will charge your electric vehicle from a coal-based company, is naturally not environmentally friendly as what we reason to buy. For hydrogen, there's nothing like it. But to produce green hydrogen, which you are aware, there's something called grey hydrogen and green hydrogen. Grey hydrogen is made from electricity, which is not clean. Green hydrogen is made from solar. You use solar to power electrolysis to make an hydrogen. Now I am getting slightly technical on this, but what it does to the country, that the hydrogen as a fuel is 100% made in India. So it will reduce so much of foreign exchange for the country that it doesn't need to go out and import. India, as you are aware, imports 85% of its fuel from abroad. Sells, everything is 100% from abroad. So there is a clear issue of thing. Government, as you are aware, in January has floated a document 19,000 crores towards the proposed schemes for hydrogen, which will become in public final document in the month of Feb and March. If 19,000 crore worth of incentive is given to the industry on hydrogen production. Now the second thing which we'll have to see, how does hydrogen get done on an automobile? trucks, today people have attempted. Hydrogen, there are two technologies which can come on a vehicle. One is fuel cell vehicles, and other is hydrogen powering ICE, which is directly powering an engine. I think both are being attempted by the industry. There are a lot of naysayers who will say this is not possible. Our view at Reliance is by 2025, you should start seeing hydrogen, at least vehicle which are 15 ton and above, on road in bus and trucks. I can give you another solution. If you look at state transports who are buying EV buses because it is considered to be green, imagine a situation you are able to put one pump in one depot of a state transport. These state transport buses will go around and come back to the depot in the evening. One run of a bus with 4 tanks in it can run 350 kilometers. If you can fill 3-4 tanks and the bus comes back at the depot, it is a much cheaper solution than diesel. It is much cheaper than solution than EV, where the cost government is giving through FAME subsidy. I think this is what message we are reading. This is about to come. Coming to the what is the target government is putting on. It's called 5 million metric tons. That means the kind of hydrogen government is thinking, incentivizing 5 million metric tons of hydrogen to be given to the industry for usage in automobiles. Very huge amount of it. How many OEMs are actually working on it? Very few. So I think the last sentence from me, we believe hydrogen is doable. How to reduce cost to make at 250 rupees a kg to interim. Finally, we have to be making at the same price as a diesel. How does the industry step in to put hydrogen on the automobile, which to me is doable. There's a lot of technology available. Tanks are the another issue which is very important. How do we put tanks to store hydrogen on the vehicle? And the pumps. Which pumps will come on the way, because it's like the same way to say, when CNG pumps came, suddenly CNG vehicles became so popular. I think hydrogen pumps will come, and I'm sure government is going to do that. Just watch it out. As a community, this issue is going to start very fast. Our feeling is 2025, we should see hydrogen trucks and buses at least 15 tons and above coming on the it. If it is possible to do it, which we think it is, it will really reduce India's dependence on oil, at least for medium and heavy trucks and buses, as well as Europe is even attempting cars. This technology may exist along with EVs and maybe along with diesel, but this might take a big chunk of the market, at least for trucks and buses going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Seth, for that very informative keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very pleased to welcome Mr. Anil Srivastava, Professor Energy Policy and Environment Solutions from IIT Kanpur and Director, Epsilon Advanced Materials, with us here today. A very warm welcome to you. And may I now invite you to kindly deliver your keynote address.
Extreme dignitaries on the dais, thanks for the short introduction. It's my pleasure to be around with the friends of automobile industry, some familiar faces, some new faces. After having done nearly 4 to 5 years with Niti Aayog, I am not with the policy making body, but yes, of course, working in the energy policy making area with various think tanks and organizations. So friends, as I understand, the anxiety is there. There's no doubt. I'm coming straight from the auto show. I was there yesterday also for a short time. Today I spent a little more time there. And I could see as to what is happening and what is being shown, and I'm very sure that the distinguished audience here must be seeing as to what is happening. We started this narrative in around 2017 from the Niti Aayog, when we started talking about as to, and I used to say the writing on the wall, and also used to say and call the industry as to that, please be in your gears and start. So that is what, and it is very, very encouraging and satisfying to see as to what we were thinking at that point of time is exactly coming forward, and the things are happening as we had probably thought about it. And none other than our leadership, the Honorable Prime Minister, who inaugurated our MOVE Summit in 2018. That was a landmark summit, I must say, when he gave our 7 C's of the mobility, and we started thinking about the transformative mobility and the battery storage and mixing the clean energy and mobility with the clean energy. So from there the narrative started, and right now the things are unfolding itself, and to a very large extent as it was expected. Now, just now we had a longish discussion about the hydrogen, and things are being displayed about the hydrogen vehicles in the auto show and otherwise. But friends, from the beginning we used to say, and it is being said, that the internal combustion engine would not last, or rather it will be out of the automobiles before the oil wells dry. And similar thing is being said about the lithium-ion batteries, as to the lithium-ion technology would be out before the lithium gets finished from the mines. So that is what is there. Well, of course, we have heard about the hydrogen fuel, but the things are moving, and a lot of work which is going on in this direction. But one thing is very clear, that the mobility and energy is going to be much, much cleaner than what it is today. So you have to be prepared about it, and you have to move forward with those times. There is no issue, and there is no second thought about it. Now, what that clean alternative would be is not really a work of guessing, but yes, things are moving in the desired directions. And again, as the people are saying, and it has been said, probably the advent of hydrogen or hydrogen fuel would be sooner than what is expected. As it is now, after the auto show, even the Tata chairman Chandra was mentioning that the adoption of EVs is going to be faster than what it was expected, and that we used to say, even I used to say even 3 years back from the Niti Aayog, that look, it is going to be there, and you better be prepared and be gear up for that. So that is what is happening. Now the issue is that what kind of the fuel journey is going to happen. There are research which is going on, there are papers, there are certain amount of statistics, but I would speak as to what the intuitive perception would be about the way things are moving. As we understand lithium-ion battery technology, whether it is NMS or it is the LFP or maybe some other chemistry of the lithium-ion, as it is said, maybe 10 to 15 years of time, it could be there, and then certainly the next things will come. A lot of work is going on the solid state chemistry of the cells, and as I look at it, probably that would be coming next. Finally, the commercialization of the hydrogen fuel or the fuel cells will be adopted. So this is probably the likely journey which is going to be adopted. There's a lot of anxiety about the range, about the distance, and the anxiety about the range that is being sorted out. Charging stations are being designed, they are being set up in the country. Firms are coming up, and very quickly, I think in a very short period of time, maybe 2 years or 3 years from now, there would be a lot of charging stations along with the oil dispensing petrol pumps, as we call them now. So that is going to take place in a very, very near future. And along with that, the range, as I said, you see in today's auto show, the people are talking about the range of more than 500 kilometers. The cars which are being introduced. And the charging time with a DC charging station, maybe around half an hour, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, that is being talked about. But remember, the same charging station was displayed by the ABB in our Vigyan Bhavan Move Summit in 2018. So we could see as to what was happening, and that is what probably you have to see and be prepared about it as to what is going to be there. Solid state chemistry is very strongly picking up, and that is probably going to be the next source of energy. The clean energy adoption, the swapping policy, which is not yet come out from the government, but the swapping policy is in the offing. It will be coming very shortly, and I must say that now being out of the government, I must say that where the government needs to be fast and need to have the quick action and where the proactive. Electric vehicle adoption is one area in which industry used to tell us that, look, the government has moved faster than probably than the industry which is moving. Yes, this is true, but then at no point of time the government should be less proactive or the less fast, I mean, it has to be faster than the ecosystem. And the entire ecosystem is responding as per the policies of the government. So the government has to be proactive in providing the solutions. A very welcome step was regarding the advanced cell chemistry PLI scheme, production linked incentive scheme, and that prompted investments in the areas of the lithium ion cell manufacturing. But yes, it has yet to see the light of the day. Things have not moved forward. And the cells are being imported from the countries, and maybe mostly from the China and the likewise. So friends, similarly, when we have the journey, so as a part of the stakeholders, if I address the OEMs, if I address the component manufacturers, if I address the organization here, which is the auto dealers, and the entire segment, you have to be prepared, as this mobility is going to be clean mobility. There are a lot of environmental considerations, particularly the COP26, COP27, and which started from the Paris Agreement. Yes, it is in the interest of the humanity that we move in and we move forward in the direction of the cleaner mobility and the cleaner environments. So it is going, the journey is going to be like that. You have to keep your antennas open, and you have to keep moving with the thing. But this is one thing is certain, that as probably 4 or 5 years back, it was predicted that the internal combustion engine would be dying, and it is going to be sooner than probably what is being anticipated by the whether the Bloomberg or the Morgan Stanley or the McKinsey or any other think tank for that matter. So this is what comes to my mind when we talk about the future of the energy, the future of the source of the fuels which are going to be there. Probably we will not be talking them in terms of the fuels of the coming from the traditional sources, but the energy would be from the renewable energy, right? Mostly in our country from the sun. That energy would be converted to various operations, whether it is the other uses of the energy, and that will be used for the mobility as well in a short term. Maybe for the next 2 decades, 2.5 decades, it will be like that. And then probably we would be moving forward to other forms of the energy which would be taking us forward in terms of the mobilities. Thank you, friends, and thanks for my invitation to being here. And I'm happy to be here. And if there are any things which you would like to know about the policy formulation, then probably I can speak about it. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Anil Srivastava, for your pertinent keynote address, and you have stressed on cleaner energy as the future of the industry. I'd like to now request Mr. Singhania, Mr. Vivek Garg, Governing Council Member, and Mr. Hitendra Nanavati, Chairperson, FADA Gujarat, to please come on stage and felicitate our esteemed speakers, Mr. Anil Srivastava and Mr. Nitin Seth. to both our speakers.